Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you tonight? Epsilon 4 back again for another stream. Tonight, I've decided that we're not going to start with Castle Flipper. We might play that in a little bit, maybe. But tonight, I thought I'd show you another old favorite game of mine. I first found this for the phone years ago, and I loved it. And now it's available on PC, has been for a while, and so we are going to play Narrowboat Simulator. Now, I know most people probably have never heard of a narrowboat, so I'll tell you a little bit about it, because I fell in love with them a couple of years ago. There's a number of YouTube channels out there about narrowboats. You can look that up. And they are over in England. They still have a bunch of the canals that they used to use for shipping. And narrowboats, like you see here, are here. No, other here. Here. Here we go. Narrowboats, like you see here, are converted shipping boats, basically. And some of them are made now to be specifically what they call live aboard, where you can live for it. For my American friends, which I'm an American, so you'll understand, it's basically a motorhome on a boat. That's it. It's a houseboat. But it's only 6.5 feet wide, which is why it's called a narrow boat, and it goes on canals. Motors can typically go up to 4 to 8 miles an hour, but you really don't go over 4. So it's slow moving, but they can carry a huge amount of tonnage. And like this, the green one here, right there. Oh, you can't. Well, I don't know. Anyway, the green one and black one there is basically a converted cargo. So the black area here, there would be cargo in that, and then this back end here, that's where they would live, and they would move cargo. Now this one, most of them now that still look like this is all converted in here to be a house. So you can have a living room and a bedroom and all that in there, and then you have a stove and everything back here. So if you want to know more about narrowboats, check out the videos, the YouTube channels. They can tell you all about them. They're basically super long, up to 60 feet long. They have a small diesel engine in them and a rudder, and that's basically what the boat is. So they're slow, but they take a little skill to drive. So let's get at it. Let's see if we can maneuver around here and get out of this marina and onto the canal to the left, and we'll hit some what do you call them?
Icebergs?
No, not icebergs. That's the Titanic in the Atlantic Ocean. These are canals. There are no icebergs in canals that I've ever been aware of.
The Loch Ness Monster?
There are locks, though. Thank you. There is not the Loch Ness Monster. That's in a lake, not a canal. This, but there are locks, so we'll go through some locks. Anyway, let's take a look and get into it. Top side, here we go. I don't know why this spins so fast, but that's kind of a roundabout view of it, and the side view. These are all narrow boats. This is more of a traditional narrow boat with a traditional sounding diesel engine, which is why I like this one. So I think you'll like that. All right, let's untie the lines like so, and see if we can't get out of the marina. We're actually gonna have to back out of this marina, I think. Yeah, that'll be interesting. There we go. Gotta love the sound of that engine. Now, one trick to these guys is they only turn when there's power going to the rudder. In other words, you're actually moving forward. And they don't turn in reverse. And they pivot too much, go. There we go. We got it. All right, you got to be careful of that overcompensating bit. I'm just going to let her drift around a little bit. And this is the view you would typically drive from. And you can see I can only get it to turn when I give in the forward gear, so she gets to be a little bit of a interesting thing to drive backwards. And I haven't played it long enough. This is actually an updated marina. This is not the way it used to look. So you used to be able to turn and come out of there front ways, but it doesn't look like you can really do that now. We can get our nose back out of there. There we go. I think we might be out far enough. We can get this tail turned around. There we go. Oh, I love the sound of that engine. Oh, sounds so good. And you can tell we're in England because there's a castle.
Is that a castle you have already flipped?
That is not a castle I have flipped. Although maybe I should build that castle in Castle Flipper. That'd be fun. Alright, looks like we get to go through a tunnel first. Nice. Oh, goodness gracious.
Great balls of fire.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire!
That's right.
Hello, cows. Move it. So on your left here, you'll see that wide spot is actually what they call a winding hole. And you can stick your nose up in there and use it to turn the narrowboat around. Because obviously, finding places to turn these around on a canal, not so easy. So they have those things periodically. So if you do need to turn around, you can do that. No? What's the button for the horn? I don't know. There we go. And we'll sound the horn in case they don't see me coming. That looks like Abraham Lincoln on the penny, honestly. But I'm sure it's some England dude. English dude. England dude? English dude. It's too bad this guy hasn't been able to develop multiplayer yet. Because this game is actually just written by a guy that likes narrowboats, and he's done a great job at creating this by himself, I think. I don't think he has help. I was reading about him one day, and he just does it on his own time. So I think he's done a great job with the game, and I really appreciate what he's done. So it's one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and show it off today. However, we are in trouble now, so we do not have enough turning space because I didn't get over. Alright, what do I need to do? Let's get my butt out. So what I need to do is get my butt over to the other side. This is how you should not drive the narrowboat, because I'm taking up the whole canal because I misjudged that corner. So let's see here. I get backed up enough. Hopefully nobody's behind me. Well, since I'm the only one in the game, there's nobody behind me. Ha ha ha. Alright, here we go. Now's when we need the horn. Where's my mouse? Coming around a corner. There we go. Give her a little more throttle. Alright, this is a long corner. And that's the appeal to this game. It's not a fast-moving game, and if you're watching my stuff, you know I don't really play fast-moving games, so I'm sure you're used to that. But it does take a bit of skill and forethought to drive one of these boats. And I'm sure that actually driving one is different, but they are still a thing, and you can get them, and you can go over to England and rent them for a holiday if you want, or there's people that live aboard them, all kinds of stuff. But I started watching their YouTube channels for these guys, and I just fell in love with narrowboats. My dream is to go buy one live on it for a year in England. Not sure I'll ever get to do that, but that would be fun. Okay, guys, looks like we are finally coming up to a lock. So a lock is where the water changes level. So I will walk you through how to operate a lock. first thing we need to do is catch a bollard up here. So those things you see on the grass are just to the right of the boat. They're called bollards. And that's where you tie your boat to when you're stopping. So bring her to a stop. Okay. Oh, am I not? Whoops. You know what? I'm not close enough. What? No. Ah. I wanted to go back to this. Don't tell me I was. Ah. I screwed it up. Alright, hold on, guys. Back. That's not the boat I want. I want that one. Little old pub. Aqueduct. A near pub. Alright, let's go here. So we don't have to get out of the marine board. Alright, we'll try this again. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong. Oh. Oh. Gotta love that sound. Okay. We'll try again. Sorry, guys. See if I can't get this corner right this time. If you know what you're doing, you can make it around this corner. Ah, that's not what I want. No. There we go. There we go. That's what I want. All right. A corner like this is really tough because you've got to find room to move your butt around. If you can't move the butt of the boat around, you're not turning. You're just not. So we're gonna see if we can't figure out how to do that. Oh, wrong way. I need to turn this way. Whoops. My bad. Hit the wall. All right. In real life, there's actually bricks tore out of the walls here because people hit the walls. So they say that narrowboating is a contact sport, so just so you know. Oh, also, there are some narrowboats in the States that are very similar to these. Over on the East Coast, there is actually a run of river and canal with it goes into a couple of lakes and back around, and there's a kind of a circuit you can make with a regular boat because it actually goes out to the coast. You go down to the coast and then back up. But there is some canals and some narrowboats you can rent up in the States and on the east, over on the east side of the country. I think I missed it. So if you're interested in the States, you can do it. Oops, hit the thing. Not sure what the cost is, but it's kind of a vacation thing. So it's going to be a little bit of money. And in fact, where you can do it, I believe, is actually over by the Niagara Falls, I think, if I remember right. When I was looking at it, the river you can rent one. You can actually go up near, not to, but near the falls. And then you can do the Erie Canal, I believe. That whole thing about the Erie Canal, it was the Erie Canal was one of the first canals that was put in because they did start to make canals for shipping in the United States. Um, but that was right about the time when they invented the steam engine, the train. And so that was the demise of the canals, both in Europe and in America. And it's why you don't see canals in America for the most part, because they just started building. Canals are very expensive to build. And when trains came along, it's much cheaper to put in rail. And so trains are much more efficient and cheaper to operate and faster. So a few canals were put in, most were abandoned that were put in the States. And the train became king, took over, won the race. Same thing happened in England, actually. Although they put in a lot more extensive canal structure before the train was created or invented. And then when the train came in, the canals went into disrepair and disuse. Many of them were drained, buried, and just generally mucked up and forgotten about. Until the 1950s, somewhere around in there, I think, a group of people decided they wanted to restore the canals. And so they, long story short, created what they have in England as the Canal and River Trust, which is a volunteer organization that actually operates the canals. I made it through, but now we have this. So what I have to do, get close enough here to activate the thingies. So normally you wouldn't have to worry about that because you just park wherever you want to. But since it's a video game, we have to get close enough to the lock. There it is. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to stop there. Okay, good. Alright, so these are the controls for the lock. We need to make sure the lock has the right water level, so it does here. So this is us, up in the top corner of your screen there if you're that way, if you want to look at it. This is us, this is the water level, this is the water level in the lock, and this is the water level on the other side of the lock. So we will move us into here. Oh, I can go ahead and tie up real quick. Good. All right, we can, we're going to move us into here. We're going to dump water from here into here to make it the same level, and then we're going to move us out, and then we'll end up over here. So you'll see the water levels here and here, so we just need to open this. And yep, click that. So we're going to open the gates, and now we're going to go into the lock. This whole thing is considered to be the lock. Go back to our boat. Go ahead and untie us. Kick our butt out. Back us up. And then turn us around. It should get us out enough to get us into the lock. And we'll drift right on in. It's alright if we bounce a little bit. Alright, let's get our back end around. Come on. Oh, you know what? There. Had the rudder going the wrong way. Driving a narrowboat with a rudder is kind of like back in a trailer. Takes a little to get used to. All right. In we go. As soon as we're past the gates, we can close them. Oops. There we go. All right, now we need to make sure these are closed, which they should. Yeah, that's open. That's closed. Okay, so the gate paddles are closed on this side. That'll keep the water in. And we'll go to this side. That's the gate. And this is the gate paddle here. So we're going to open this. And that will allow water to drain from this side into the gate, raising the boat. Like so. There we go. And she's up. So now we can go ahead and open the gate. Did I just stall the engine? Holy smolies, I didn't even know that was popular. Or possible. Alright, there it goes. She's restarting. There we go. Alright, good. Alright, and while she's trying to move out, we're gonna go ahead and close that gate, that valve. Paddle. It's called a paddle. I'm gonna close that one just as a courtesy so that it is closed. We can leave the water full. We're going to leave that closed so that whoever comes to drain it next time doesn't have to come and close this paddle. All right. And then as soon as we're past the gate, we can close the gate. There we go. And we've made it through our lock. And now we have another one. It'll be roughly the same process, only I'm not going to pull over this time. Once we get close enough, I'll just open the lock since it's a game. We can do that. Obviously, in reality, you got to get somebody to get out of the boat and go open the... set the lock and open the gates. Now, if the lock was full, like we're going up and the lock was already full of water at the other level, we'd have to drain it out, obviously, first. Before we could... take the boat in. Which makes it a bit of a hassle if you're a solar boater, like I am. Solo, if you're a solo boater, like I am. because then you have to pull over, tap the boat, get up, set the lock, get out, untie the boat, pull it in, get up, set the lock, get the, you know, just one step at a time. It just makes it a bit more, it's much easier if you have two people. But you can do it with one, for sure. There's people that do it. Upper Castle Lock. There we go. Behind us. And I don't remember all the hotkeys, so I'm just having to do it manually. That's okay. Alright, let's close the... There we go. Now we'll go over here. Same thing. Open the paddle. Let the water raise. There we go. Cool, didn't stall out that time. Alright, so let's go ahead and close that paddle. Go back here. And through the lock we go. Okay. And front. Alright, and then we're going to go over an aqueduct, and then we'll have another gate. Another lock. That's what it is. It's a lock. That'd be really cool if the guy could do, and I know it'd be way too much work for one guy, and he's done a fabulous job here, so I'm not picking on him, but it would be really cool to have a version of this that's like Railroads Online, where you can set up and draw your canals and make your own canal, and then run narrowboats. You could even set them up like the old cargo narrowboats that used to be. And interestingly enough, the speaking of cargo, the path over here next to it, that's actually called a tow path, which might sound odd, because why are we putting our toes on a path? I mean, I guess it's a walking path, a tow path, I guess, but that's not what it means. Of course, a tow path is there because they used to pull these with oops, where's, there we go. They used to pull these when they were doing cargo. It was before the diesel engine, which now they all have diesel engines, but before that, they would tow them with a horse. And so they would tie a rope on the top right here. In fact, you see a little kind of a thing here, that's where they would tie the horse. And or they would tie it in the middle, depending on what they were doing, I think. But I don't know that much about it. But they would tow them with a horse, and that's what that path is for. So along the canals, you have that path on either the right or the left, and it goes back and forth. And that's what it was for. That's why it's called a tow, T-O-W, not tow, T-O-E. When I first heard them call it a towpath, I thought they meant T-O-E because they were walking on it. So I thought, okay, towpath, walk. Yeah, no, that's not. That's completely wrong. Yeah, the more you know. Okay, coming in. All right, that's good. Let's take a look behind us. All right, let's close the gate. There we go. We don't need that. We need to go this way. Here we go. And now we're going to drain the water out. Now, when you're going down like this, you have to be careful because there's a ledge on some of these right here. And if you're too far back, it'll catch on the ledge and it'll put you like this. That's bad. That's no fun for anyone. Okay, open the gatos. So if you look, you can see that ledge back here. See that right there? And that's a real thing on real canals. If you don't get your boat far enough forward, you can end up getting caught on that and put your boat like this, and that's a bad day. So don't do that. Okay, so we just need to close these up. Close the paddles because we want to leave those closed. What do we got? Okay. Now, water coming in over, they have a name for that kind of a water coming in. A weir, I think that's called a weir, as where water is coming in. Although that seems like a very small one, from what I've seen in the YouTube videos. But that causes a current in the canal, so you have to be really careful around them because they can blow you out of position. All right, let's see here. Oops, too far. And typically what you'd, if you had a second person on your boat, you would send them off ahead especially in the case where you have lock after lock. And send them off ahead so they can set the lock, and you don't have to stop or get out. You can just pull right into the lock. And oftentimes other boaters will be kind to you. If they see you coming, they'll leave the lock set for you and leave the gate open so you can just pull right in. It's kind of a courtesy thing you do if somebody's coming. That's from what I've seen, and I haven't been over there and I haven't met any of these people, but just from the channels and stuff like that, it seems like it's a really neat community, which, you know, is something you can get on Twitch. Let's go this way. Here we go. All right, we're gonna drain the water out. It's a really neat boating community that operates on the canals most of the time. And a lot of time, there's a lot of space between, not in the game, but in reality, there's a lot of space, and there's a lot of you can go out of town in the fields and somewhere and park and be left alone. And I think that's the appeal. It's just the peace and the quiet, to just relax. And that's kind of what I wanted to simulate today. It's just peace and quiet and relax a little bit. Without trying to accomplish something or pick up trash in the dark or whatever. So that's why we decided that Narrowboat Simulator was our game today. Okay, let's go ahead and close those ahead of time this time. There we go. We're all set. Oh, I forgot about that. You can push off too. Oh. I forgot. When you're up against the side, you can use that to push off. Alright, let's close that. Back to the boat. Turn around and look the other way. Holy smolies, we're in trouble. There's a nice footbridge across the canal. I believe we're coming up on the pub. Should we stop at the pub for a pint? That seems like an English thing to do. Sounds like a very narrow-boaty thing to do to me. Assuming I can get around this corner. No, probably can't. Alright, let's just do this. Yes. And this is one of the kind of challenging corners, because you see you've got a weir coming in on this side, and that's pushing the boat away, but you need the nose of the boat to be on this side to make that corner. So this corner becomes rather challenging, because this water here just pushes on that side, and it becomes a bit of a pain to get around it. Of course, in real life, you have some push poles and stuff that you can use to push on the bank in a case like that. But you don't have that in the game. Alright, so let's go over to the pub, which is right here. And believe it or not, we're pretty close to being around the map. Let's tie her off. There we go. Tie off 2 lines because we're going to go in for a drink. Oops, sorry. This view is a little complicated. The White Horse Inn. Unfortunately, we can't actually go inside. I would love to, but there's the White Horse Inn. Barkeep, give me a pint of your finest dark ale. That's a mighty fine pint. If I do steal that line from someone else myself. I actually don't know if it would be a fine pint because I don't drink pints. I drink root beer. What can you do? That's not even root beer though. Terrible, terrible. Anyway, so there we are. We've pulled up. We've had our pint. I think it's time to move along. So let's get back on our Narrowboat. There we go. Oops. Trees are the way. Go ahead and do that. We go north here. Look over here. I should be able to. So now that I'm looking at the ground, I can go ahead and push that away from the dock a little bit. We can go back. And then we're going to have to back up. So we're just going to go ahead. There we go. Back her on up. So this is kind of like a Y thing. You can come up this way and then back up to the pub. Or you can go this way and go on down towards the marinas down that way. Let's get our butt end out a little bit. Or we won't be able to make this corner anyway. That should do it. There we go. Looks like we might just have enough time tonight to make it back to the old marina. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a second night. There's another level the guys made that's really a lot different than this. It's really interesting. Not as many locks, so it's not as slow and tedious to travel. So it's kind of like more like out in the country. And it has, I think it has a swing bridge, which is a thing. But it's a really nice run. It's more rural and, like I said, not as many locks and things like that. So in some ways it's easier to run, but it also has other boats on it, which means you have to avoid boat traffic. Both stationary, because typically along the sides of your canal you're going to have people tied up anywhere, because you can tie up in most places alongside the canal. So you're going to have canals on either side of you as you're going. It can get really tight. So you gotta have some skills and some patience to pilot one of these guys. I so want to try it. So want to try it. I think it's fantastic. But I love the water. I love boats. It's a thing. What do you want? Alright, let's see if we can make it around this corner and still set us up for the next corner. You can see the towpath on the side goes through the bridge. Sometimes it goes up and over. In fact, actually, you can see where it splits off right here. It'll go up and over. So you could take a horse up and over and catch him on the other side. Or you could take him up and over this way and catch him on the other side if the towpath was crossing to the other side. Out of the way. Crazy Yankee driving a narrowboat. Move it. Move it. There's the marina. That's where we started, right there. So I guess the goal is to get into the marina and get ourselves backed up to the dock. And we'll have made our full circle. It's hard to believe that these canals still exist over there. Hundreds and hundreds of years old. I don't even remember when they said they were first built, like the 1700s, 1800s, I don't know, something like that. I really don't remember, but pretty cool. Oops, I crashed. I did it again. Basically, I'm running my prop in the weeds, but I don't have any choice because I got to get this nose around. There we go. All right. All right, we're back at the dock. Well, there you go, guys. That is Narrowboat Simulator. That's the first section of it. It goes through all kinds of tutorials where you can learn how to do all that fancy spancies. If you're interested, it is a slow game, but I really enjoy it. It's fantastic. Do love to do that. Maybe next time we get on here, we'll show you the other map, which is also very, very cool. But I think that's going to do it for me tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I have. And hope you have a great week and a great day tomorrow. So with that, as always, take care of yours, and they'll take care of you.